Welcome to the National Zoning Atlas, a project dedicated to improving the accessibility and legibility of zoning codes. Today, we're going to show you how to get the most out of our interactive map. This video will first show you basic navigation. Then it will show you how to use the map's more advanced features. So let's get started. The atlas opens at the national level. On the left side of the map, you'll see the Legend and Layer Options box. Let's start with the legend. We've set up the map so that you can select different base maps. You can click on Plain, Topography, or Satellite Imagery. Here, we're sticking with the plain base map. At this scale, the legend shows the zone status of the jurisdictions we've analyzed. The areas shown in purple represent places with zoning, while the gray areas are places without zoning. Everywhere else, shown in white, we haven't analyzed yet. From this view, you can already get a sense of where you'll be able to explore NZA zoning data. You'll notice a lot of coverage in New England, across the Southwest from California to Texas, and many major metro areas all around the country. The legend box also contains additional options that can change how the map appears. For example, you can change the opacity of the map. You can also turn on and off the tribal lands and protected lands layers to get a clearer view of the completed jurisdictions. You also have the option to toggle on the FEMA flood zones and transit stations layers to explore zoning near transit or zoning in areas with flood hazards. While the national view provides an overview, there's a good chance you have a specific place in mind that you want to explore. I'll show you two easy ways to get there. The first way is to manually navigate to a general area using the plus-minus tool at the top right of the map. Let's try that now to explore New England. Now that we're at a regional scale, you can start to see some patterns. Check out Maine and Vermont. There's a lot of gray there, meaning there are lots of places without zoning. Contrast that with Rhode Island and Connecticut, states that are virtually entirely zoned. To get back to the national view, click the home icon. The second way to jump to a specific place is by using the Zoom To menu in the Zoom and Filter box on the left-hand side. First, pick a state from the first drop-down menu. Let's select Rhode Island. Additional drop-down menus listing the metro and micropolitan areas, counties, and cities and towns in Rhode Island will then appear. Note that the places included in these drop-down menus are only those with published data. Since Rhode Island is 100% complete, every geography is listed. Let's select Providence. You can see we've now zoomed to the selected jurisdiction and it's outlined black. Note that you can only select one jurisdiction at a time. When a jurisdiction is selected, a box with the name of the jurisdiction and information about zoned acres and number of zoning districts will appear in the lower right corner. The atlas allows you to hide the zoning outside of a selected jurisdiction. It also allows you to hide the zoning outside of counties or metro or micro areas. At this scale, the legend has changed to display zoning district types. The lighter purple areas represent places that are primarily residential, where housing is the main type of development allowed. The darker purple areas represent places that are mixed with residential, meaning both residential and non-residential uses are allowed. You can also think of the darker purple as denser areas, since it's common for these mixed zones to allow larger buildings and more units. The sand color shows non-residential areas, places where housing isn't allowed as a principal use. Finally, the gray areas continue to show the places we've confirmed do not have zoning. We chose to visualize land uses in this way to give you a simple, big picture look at how different communities organize themselves. On the map, you'll notice that lighter purple, the primarily residential zones, make up most of what you see. That's true across the country. Residential zoning is by far the most common zoning category nationwide. You may begin to wonder what types of residential uses are allowed. Our atlas filters can show you. The most basic filters are in the Show Me Where People Can Build menu. Note that these filters display where a certain zoning type is allowed by right. First, let's toggle Show me where people can build single-family homes. When the filter's criteria are satisfied, that part of the map remains colored. In other words, you can build a single-family home by right everywhere the map is light or dark purple. You can see that there's barely any change when we toggle it. Across the region, virtually all zone land allows single-family housing. Now let's toggle Show me where people can build apartments. Apartments are residential buildings with 4 or more units. And now notice, it is much, much less land. Maybe this kind of query is all you need from the atlas. But if you'd like to explore the data a little further, we'll walk through how to do that now. Start by resetting your search by clicking Reset Filters and Xing out of the selected geographies. Let's take a quick trip to Phoenix. I'll again use the Zoom to function to zoom to Arizona, and then search for Phoenix in the jurisdictions dropdown. And here we are. Let's say that we want to understand how much of Phoenix is zoned for single-family housing. Go to Advanced Filters, then One Family, then click Is it allowed? Just like our regional image, we can see that most of Phoenix allows one-family housing. But there's one key difference to observe. Now that we've selected a jurisdiction, notice that we've enabled the filtering results box in the bottom right-hand corner. In this case, it says that single-family residential zoning exists in 46 out of 101 zoning districts, or on 76% of zoned land. If we click on the maybe below the yes box, this shows all the additional areas one-family housing is allowed, not just as of right, but also after a public hearing. Next, let's say we want to see how much of that single-family housing has a minimum parking requirement. That means that there's a requirement to build some number of parking spaces for each house. Let's click the minimum parking requirement box. The default is yes, meaning there is a parking minimum. Notice that all of Phoenix's single-family zoning has this requirement. To underscore this point, click no. And you'll see 0% of land fits this criteria. This means there's no place in Phoenix you can build a single-family home without also building off-street parking. There's another useful advanced filter that displays which zones have residential minimum lot sizes. If we select the minimum lot size box to specify areas that have a minimum lot size requirement of any size. We can use the boxes below to select a specific or range of sizes in either square feet or acres. If we select a maximum lot size of 2,000 square feet, which is among the smallest lot sizes we've seen, you can see all the places where new single-family housing requires a lot of this size or smaller. The last filter I want to show you is the accessory dwelling units filter. Also called in-law apartments or granny flats, ADUs are smaller housing units allowed to be built on the same lot as a primary dwelling unit. States have been legalizing ADUs in an attempt to boost supply of flexible, more affordable housing types. Note that the one family allowed by right criteria is still selected, so this new criteria stacks on. This ADU filter shows where ADUs are allowed by right in single-family areas. You can also see if the ADU occupant must be part of your family or an employee by clicking the occupancy restrictions box. The default is yes, meaning this filter shows where ADUs are allowed, but also have occupancy restrictions. Very few places in Phoenix, only 315 zoned acres, have such restrictions. Now we'll close out by showing you zoning snapshots. Just under the map, you'll see 3 buttons that say Jurisdiction, County, and Metro and Micropolitan Area Snapshot. Clicking one will open the snapshot in a new tab. This is the snapshot for the city of Phoenix. A zoning snapshot is a visual statistical summary of any jurisdiction, county, metro, micropolitan area, or state published to the NZA. It contains standardized data visualizations showing breakdowns for land and zoning categories, housing units allowed, minimum lot size mandates, ADU permissions, and more. We recommend viewing our snapshots for quick assessments of the zoning rules in a place and for comparing zoning across different geographies. You can navigate straight to the Zoning Snapshots tool anytime by going to zoningatlas.org/snapshots. That's it for me. Now you know how to navigate the National Zoning Atlas from the national level to the regional, state, city, and finally the zoning district level. At each scale, you can find different types of information. Connect with us on social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, and Blue Sky for the latest from the NZA. Thanks again for joining.